In 1904, Baltimore stood as a thriving metropolis, a testament to American industry. Factories churned out goods, ships navigated the bustling harbor, and the population swelled. The city pulsed with energy, drawing in thousands seeking opportunity. Yet, beneath this vibrant exterior lay a fragile web of greed and betrayal, waiting for the perfect storm. The economic atmosphere crackled, fueled by the promise of progress. Construction projects reshaped the skyline. From brick warehouses to elegant townhouses, Baltimore transformed into an urban landscape of possibility. But this rapid growth came at a cost. Safety protocols often took a backseat to profits. Old structures housed new enterprises, and the city's aging infrastructure struggled to keep pace with its ambitions. On the evening of February 7th, disaster struck. A single spark ignited a blaze within a small warehouse on South Howard Street. Historians disagree on the exact cause. Some point to faulty wiring, others to a careless worker. Regardless, the fire erupted ferociously, catching the city off guard. Thick black smoke billowed up, signaling impending doom. Initial reports spread like wildfire. This flame was different. Local authorities scrambled to respond, dispatching the city's beleaguered fire brigade. But the aging equipment and dwindling manpower quickly revealed their ineffectiveness against a fire of this magnitude. Citizens watched in horror as the flames leapt from building to building, devouring everything in their path. The stakes intensified. Lives would be lost, fortunes ruined, and trust shattered. By midnight, the situation escalated further. Firefighters faced a dire reality. The flames raged unchecked. News of the disaster rippled through local neighborhoods. Some residents attempted to rescue their belongings, while others rushed to help firemen. But panic set in. The inferno spread toward the heart of the city. Silence turned to chaos as people realized this was more than an accident. It was a harbinger of change. Amidst the turmoil, murmurs of greed surfaced. Insurers whispered about profits to be gained from claims. Property owners eyed the opportunities hidden in the ashes. The fire, while threatening lives, also ignited dark ambitions. This was no mere accident. Here was a chance to reshape the city's landscape under the guise of recovery. As dawn broke, the fire's intensity diminished, but its consequences only began to unfold. The devastated districts revealed the extent of the disaster, and 500 buildings scorched, thousands left homeless. The stench of smoke lingered while the shock settled in. But questions loomed larger than the smoke clouds. Who would rise from the ashes? What hidden agendas would emerge amongst the ruins? With the dust barely settling and a city mourning the loss of its history, the aftermath of the Great Baltimore Fire unveiled not just a story of destruction, but a revealing look at human nature when faced with catastrophe. But just as recovery plans were discussed, something unexpected emerged from the rubble. An unlikely alliance formed, one steeped in betrayal and greed. What secrets would it uncover, and who would be caught in the crossfire of renewed ambition? Stay tuned as we unravel the twisted tale behind a city's rebirth. The fire erupted with unforgiving fury, and as flames leapt skyward, they became a vivid tapestry of destruction unfurling across the cityscape. Strong winds fueled the inferno, transforming what should have been contained pockets of flame into an uncontrollable beast. Between February 7 and February 8, 1904, the conflagration roared through Baltimore, igniting over 1,500 buildings and turning vibrant communities into ghostly ruins. Among the structures consumed was the Great Baltimore Fire Department headquarters itself. Built to withstand disaster, it could not withstand the very threat it was designed to combat. The community watched in horror as their heroes lost their own sanctuary. It was a betrayal of expectation, a moment when even the bravest felt the sting of vulnerability. Desperation gripped the city. Firefighters hustled to combat the flames, their efforts hindered by limited manpower and equipment. The hoses were inadequate, their water supply dwindling as the fire spread to neighborhoods previously considered safe. Ironically, older buildings, with their timber frames and wooden facades, became kindling, an unintentional trap of history. Quelling the inferno required resources far beyond what the city possessed. In a last-ditch effort, officials and firefighters faced an agonizing decision to blow up buildings to create fire breaks. This strategy, though desperate, aimed to halt the fire's unrelenting advance. Yet, chaos ensued. Amid terror and confusion, residents grappled with betrayal. Were they to protect their homes or comply with those who believed that destruction could salvage something from the ashes? The blast of explosives echoed through the streets, and panic rippled among onlookers. Would their neighborhoods be saved, or would they simply witness their history wiped away in a swirl of smoke and flame? As the fire raged, observers noted a disturbing trend. Property owners and insurance magnates began to whisper about opportunity amid tragedy. Eager to seize the moment, some saw potential profits in the chaotic wreckage. Would the ashes of Baltimore be the foundation for a renewed city or a battlefield for greed? Amid the panic, the cries of the displaced rang out, intermingling with the roar of the flames. The more the fire engulfed, the clearer the divide grew. Families clung to memories even as they faced loss, while opportunists plotted the city's reimagining. Would the people of Baltimore cling to the remnants of their past, or would they allow their suffering to be hijacked by those seeking to rebuild with a profit in mind? As dawn approached on February 8th, the inferno began to subside, but the scars it left on both hearts and landscape were just beginning to reveal themselves. In this moment of reflection, one question loomed above the ashes. Who would rise from the devastation and claim the future? A city bound by its history, or a phoenix reborn from the flames? The answer lingered, hanging in the air like smoke. The Great Baltimore Fire left destruction in its wake. By the morning of February 8th, over 1,500 buildings lay in ruins. This staggering loss represented not just structures, but homes, businesses, and livelihoods. Estimates put property damage at over $80 million, a staggering amount in 1904. The once bustling commercial heart of Baltimore was now a smoldering landscape and the ghostly outlines of what had been flourished against the gray sky. Immediate impacts rippled across the economy. Major businesses like the Southern Railway and the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad faced catastrophic losses. The city's economy was tightly woven into the fabric of these companies. Their failure could unravel the entire community. Workers faced unemployment while customers lost their trusted suppliers. Anxiety spread as quickly as the fire itself, casting a shadow over the city's future. Meanwhile, the human toll was rising. Thousands of residents were displaced. Smashed homes turned into makeshift shelters as families huddled together for warmth and safety. Local charities and community groups surged into action, providing food and shelter, yet the need far outstripped available resources. Volunteers filled the gaps, offering aid to those suddenly without homes. But amidst this humanitarian response, another story unfolded, one of greed and betrayal. Legal battles erupted almost immediately. Insurance claims poured in from owners seeking compensation for their losses. Companies scrabbled to recover what they could, but the minefield of bureaucracy only delayed payments. Some insurers detected a ripe opportunity for exploitation. They sought to minimize payouts and increase premiums. With businesses trying to rebuild, dishonest dealings ran rampant. Claims of arson for profit emerged. Accusations flew as business owners wrestled with the predicament. Was the fire a catalyst for renewal or an opportunity for illicit gain? As city officials assessed the extent of damages, a palpable tension filled the air. Plans for reconstruction began to clash with the urge to exploit the crisis. Influential businessmen whispered of shady deals and competitor sabotage, their voices fueled by desperation and ambition. The Baltimore Reconstruction Commission formed swiftly in response. Their role? To decide the fate of the city. Would they prioritize a rebuild that honored the old Baltimore, or usher in a new era, paving the way for a new skyline, potentially at the expense of integrity? Political maneuvering intensified. Corruption thrived in the shadows, with promises made and broken behind closed doors. The upcoming decisions carried enormous weight. As the dust settled and the ashes cooled, a city transformed by fire stood at a crossroads. One path led to hope, resilience, and a brighter future. The other path, however, lingered in the seductive glow of greed, where unsavory alliances thrived under the guise of recovery. In the aftermath of a catastrophe, what choices would a community make to rebuild, and who might profit from the ashes of tragedy? The answers lie ahead as we dive deeper into the story of Baltimore's rebirth and the shadowy motives that lingered in the flames. What secrets would emerge as the city rose from its ruins? In the aftermath of the inferno, Baltimore stood like a phoenix, both devastated and infused with a fierce determination to rise anew. The Baltimore Reconstruction Commission was formed quickly, a desperate response to an urgent need. Civic leaders arrived at a critical intersection: restore what was lost or build a new legacy from the ashes. Politicians and planners faced a monumental task. They wrestled with the tangled web of insurance claims and accusations of arson, a crisis dripping with greed and betrayal. While many clamored for swift reconstruction, others saw a chance to exploit the disaster, deepening divides within the city. In the chaos, every decision rippled through the community, affecting the lives of thousands. The commission sought to revitalize the downtown area, envisioning wide boulevards and modern architecture that would symbolize resilience. They crafted stringent building codes aimed not just at reconstruction, but at fortification against future catastrophes. The fire became a catalyst, transforming urban planning across the nation. Baltimore's experience shone a light on the necessity for stricter fire codes and building regulations everywhere. As plans rolled out, Baltimore boomed. Construction crews surged into the city, and skilled laborers flocked from all corners. The skyline began to transform. New buildings, with brick facades and iron structures, replaced the charred remains. The citizens watched as their city evolved, the new architecture a testament to their loss, but also to a hopeful future. This reconstruction effort wasn't merely physical, it represented a rebirth of civic pride. Historic buildings like the Baltimore City Hall and the Enoch Pratt Free Library saw renovations, intertwining past grandeur with modern utility. The fire had stripped away the old, but it provided the city the chance to reshape itself. Architects were inspired by new ideas, incorporating safety as a fundamental design principle. Gone were the days of wooden structures. Baltimore began embracing fire-resistant materials and better urban layouts. With new buildings rising, however, came the tangled threads of gentrification and displacement. The rich sought to capitalize on the revitalization. Neighborhoods faced pressures as economic disparity widened. Some residents felt the sting of betrayal when their communities, once vibrant, became transformed beyond recognition. Yet amid this turbulence, one thing became undeniably clear. Baltimore had learned difficult lessons about disaster preparedness. The city's experience became a crucial case study for urban centers nationwide. The fire underscored the need for comprehensive emergency plans, better community response protocols, and cooperative engagements between government and citizens. The rebirth of Baltimore after the Great Fire shaped not only its future, but also influenced countless cities across America. It was a wake-up call that reverberated through every corner of urban planning, a reminder that disaster could strike at any moment. The principles developed in the wake of the fire would inform policy and planning decisions for generations. As the city continued to rebuild and redefine itself, a growing unease simmered beneath the surface. The specter of corruption loomed amid newfound opportunities. Who would ultimately control the narrative of Baltimore's rebuilding? And as the lines between necessity and exploitation blurred, would the determination to rise from the ashes lead the city to true recovery or deeper betrayal? What awaited Baltimore in the next chapter of its storied history?